Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion slash video essay. And today, I want to talk to everybody about Kawaki amidst all the sea of slander that he's undergone due to seemingly getting knocked out every single fight he's had so far, in the hopes to alleviate some of the slander and bring greater understanding to the character. This isn't a Kawaki agenda video or anything like that, though I may or may not have trolled him on the thumbnail depending on what mood I am when I wake up and get the thumbnail made. But instead, this will be a super serious video that I think Kawaki fans everywhere will appreciate, and fans of the Boruto manga will gain a little bit more of an appreciation for his character. This video will of course be the third video in a list of 3 regarding Kawaki's character, with the first one being the video essay Kawaki Uzumaki, the makings of Naruto's biggest monster, and the second video being every sign Naruto is destined to be betrayed by Kawaki. Today, I wanted to close out with this video with one that goes over why Kawaki's ideology is being proven correct throughout the course of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex as we approach the ending of volume 3 of the manga as of this recording. It can be really easy to say that Kawaki's just an obsessed Naruto fanboy who stole Boruto's life and just leave it at that, but doing so, it'll be an extreme disservice to his character and the arc that his character is currently on. Kawaki, when we first meet him, chronologically in the timeline, he is a boy who was sold by his father, a shinobi who survived the 4th Ninja War and the trauma that came from the war that caused him to take up drinking. Kawaki's first introduction to Shinobi was through that of his own father, a broken man who was a shell of his former self, someone who we were told was a good Shinobi back in the day, but now he's just a drunkard. This was the first time that Kawaki saw, even if he didn't realize it, that Shinobi, they're destined to die early. As he would say famously multiple times later on in the timeline in the final arc, but this wasn't as simple as literally die early. What he was seeing with his father was the death of Shinobi. It comes early in more than one way. In the case of his father, the 4th Great Ninja War, it made him die early on, a death on the inside. This is even more traumatic when you realize that the members of the original Team 7, Kakashi, Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke, each identified problems with the transition of peace that we were undergoing. With Naruto and Sasuke, for instance, both concerned that too much focus was being placed on technology and the ninja world was still vulnerable in this time of recovery. Each of the members of Team 7, they saw issues that affected people like Kawaki's father, and they tried and failed in their own individual approaches, which in a way, it paved the way for Kawaki in this current situation. So allow me to explain. The very thing that we learned in the epilogue stories set after the Ninja War, in particular in stories that were not adapted into the Naruto Shippuden anime, was that Kakashi as Hokage, he was worried about quite a few things. Shinobi, like Kawaki's father, they were refusing to return back to the 5 major nations. Some of them, like we saw in the Shikamaru's Hiden anime adaptation, they went to the Land of Silence to join Gingo in his effort to suck away resources from the 5 major nations, steal some of the prominent shinobi before ultimately making his move against them. Others, like the ice release user that Kakashi and Naruto fought separately named Kaio, took part in a small massacre in places like the Land of Waves. They are preaching the ideals of Madara with this belief of a world without winners and losers, but obviously they couldn't do Infinite Tsukuyomi, so they went about it a more violent way. This was all before Naruto shut down that cult, and some would then wander off after the battlefield of the 4th Ninja War to the distant corners of the ninja world, hiding in plain sight, refusing treatments at the clinics that Sakura was setting up that were geared towards repairing the mental health of survivors of the 4th Ninja War, from shinobi to, in particular, children who lost their parents to all the fighting and had their homes destroyed by the Bijudama that were fired off in the 4th Ninja War. Since multiple small countries were evacuated in order to serve and create a battlefield for the Ninja War itself, which spawned over multiple countries. Even Sasuke, while on his redemption journey where he was trying to find himself, found himself looking into why the Akatsuki members, they all became rogue ninjas and what choices they made when they reached their breaking point, where a different outcome could have set them on a path where he redeemed himself. This led to Sasuke venturing into the underworld and taking out groups that opposed the process being made in the shinobi world and the peace that people like Naruto shed their blood for. Sasuke met former shinobi who gave up on being tools of the ninja nations along his travels. Men who were very similar to Kawaki's father, and he met kids who lost family members to the various Akatsuki members back when the group was still taking on mercenary missions, as late as Itachi joining the Akatsuki. Sasuke did what he could, but a man who at that point in time was still trying to figure out who he wasn't able to truly help those who he came across. Each of the members of Team 7, they saw the problem. They did what they could, and they failed people such as Kawaki's father, who had damaged souls directly because of the war. Not too unlike how in our own world, World War veterans and veterans of the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, they suffered through issues in silence. Or you had World War II veterans like my great uncle Steak. Long story on how he got that name I might share in a Q&A if somebody remembers to ask me about it, who used to relive the war when he slept at night. People like that, they were reeling, and Kawaki's father turned to drinking, using his son to feed his habits, and beating him up if he didn't earn enough money to buy booze, and even then selling him to Jigen in the process, all for money. When Kawaki did get a chance to live in a shinobi village, train as a shinobi, and see the world through the lens of a shinobi, living with the strongest ninja in the history of the story at that point, he saw something else entirely altogether. He saw a different side of life, and yet he also saw that for as great as someone as Naruto was, even Naruto had his limitations. In the battle against Delta, Kawaki saw Naruto started that fight out very much in complete control, but he also saw, as the fight dragged on, Naruto was gasping for air, sucking and wheezing as the fight dragged on in taijutsu, where even the mighty Naruto, particularly after Himawari was almost killed and Naruto declared he was going to stop holding back in taijutsu, even the mighty Naruto had his stamina pushed to his limits. The sight of Naruto dropping to the ground after a supergiant Rasengan defeated Delta, exhausted from the taijutsu battle, as well as the extra effort put in to ensure the supergiant Rasengan didn't destroy Delta, it wasn't a calming effect for Kawaki. Despite Naruto giving the thumbs up sign, it was the seeds being planted for Kawaki's fear and his ideology that shinobi are destined to die early. That's why when Jigen pulled up, Kawaki was quick to put himself between Naruto and Jigen, even attempted to desperately fight Jigen and even offered to go away with him if it meant protecting Naruto. He saw firsthand what Naruto was capable of, and he knew Naruto was not going to be able to defeat Jigen. Just as Kashin Koji came to the same conclusion, and he was absolutely right. All it took was Jigen at full power, landing 2 hits on Sasuke and leaving him near death, unable to stand back up, and he's coughing up blood. All it took was 3 full-powered hits by Jigen to leave Naruto knocked out of his chakra mode and struggling to climb back to all fours, not even having the strength to properly do that, and Naruto, like Sasuke, was near his breaking point, beaten so badly that the guy needed 2 days of bed rest to recover after he was unsealed. In this moment, Kawaki went from seeing shinobi can die mentally to now seeing shinobi very well can die physically, because the 2 greatest shinobi, the heroes of the 4th Ninja War, who saved the world multiple times over, they were mere mortals when facing the wrath of a god like Jigen. When Ishiki was reborn and arrived, and Naruto was seemingly defying the odds yet again, this time using Baryon mode and pushing Ishiki to his limits, the power was starting to give out before he could defeat Ishiki, and Kawaki's first sight on the battlefield was Naruto getting choked out by Ishiki and stomped out of Baryon mode, and Ishiki eventually holds him hostage, crushes his chest, and threatens to rip his heart out from the inside if Kawaki doesn't comply and show himself. That PTSD of Kawaki freaking out, recalling his trauma, while deciding if he's going to give his life to save Naruto, literally give his soul to the devil, threatening to kill his hero, while still seeing the ghost of the vessel who tormented him for years, Kawaki once again saw that shinobi, they can die early. In the aftermath of Ishiki's fight and seeing Naruto seemingly come back from a near-death state, forever weakened as the result, Kawaki moved from seeing that shinobi can die early to understanding that shinobi can die early. Seeing and understanding are 2 different things. That is what led to Kawaki once again taking it upon his shoulders, being willing to give himself up as a sacrifice to Code, all in the hopes of sparing Konoha, a village of shinobi that he was living in and a Hokage in Naruto who is now weakened. All from the wrath of Code, because Kawaki understood Shinobi, they can die early, and he was trying to prevent that. Yet it was the battle with Boruto that changed his ideology. He moved from understanding that Shinobi can die early to accepting Shinobi can die early. When he killed Boruto, the young Shinobi struggling to suppress Momoshiki, which is why Boruto revealed in the story to still be alive, it sent Kawaki into a brief rage, and it had him double down on his resolve when he sensed Momoshiki was still inside of Boruto and Boruto communicating with Momoshiki. Shinobi, they are destined to die early, and as long as Boruto possessed Momoshiki, that reality, it was still out there. The same with Code. Two people who could destroy not just the world of the Shinobi, but the entire world itself if they weren't contained and stopped. That's why he's able to tell Naruto and Hinata before he seals them away so calmly that he isn't emotional when he says he's going to kill Boruto, and that only a crazy person could be this calm when thinking about killing his own brother. He'd already accepted that Shinobi, they're destined to die early, but now he was trying to, at the very least, spare those same Shinobi of the death at the hands of something they stood no chance against. Otsutsuki and Otsutsuki worshippers like Code, who were trying to become Otsutsuki. When he battles Boruto, and Sarada is standing right before him protecting Boruto, Kawaki once again states the reality of what he's accepted. Shinobi, they're destined to die early because Shinobi are not able to move away from their old way of doing things, even in the face of these new threats, at least the way Kawaki views them in perspective. A Shinobi, Sasuke, helped Boruto escape, and Kawaki spent the next 3 years training to take down both Boruto and Code, accepting that once this is over, he will either go away, or when Naruto is unsealed, he'll keep his promise to allow Naruto to kill him if he needs to make amends for killing his son and sealing Naruto and Hinata away. But his ideology that Shinobi are destined to die early, it is being proven correct right now in the story of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex as of chapter 11. Had it not been for Himawari, Inojin, a young Shinobi, he would have died. Code's invasion very early on in the story, it could have had more casualties, and during that span of the invasion, Kawaki saved quite a few people, including Naruto's own daughter, who was training to become a Shinobi, yet again proving to him that Shinobi, they're destined to die early. Now with the arrival of Jura and the other awakened shinjuu, Jura being so powerful that not even Kawaki could stand up to him, and Ada warned the collective of the 4 shinjuu were a threat. Even to Kawaki, he's once again left with more proof that Shinobi, they're destined to die early, and where he is right now, slowly being boxed into a corner. There are several small time bombs that are around Kawaki that are ready to go off before we see Kawaki fighting Boruto on the Hokage monument. Boruto, the guy who appears to be the last Shinobi, who says that even though the age of the Shinobi is over, he is still a ninja. Their battle will determine if Kawaki is right, that Shinobi are destined to die early. Kawaki's ideology is being proven right, just as you can prove me right by clicking here on the left for my every First Division member of Kaiju number 8 video explained on my Anime Explained channel, or clicking over here on the right for more video essays from the Naruto Explained channel.